This is an HR program on demand, a living seed capsule of work life and workplace coming live from a rooftop in Stockholm, Sweden. It's me, Anne Marie, and
me, Katarina Berg.
A vodcast, if you like, on HR, straight across the counter. Sponsored by HR The Real Deal, HR by HR for HR. Hi, Katarina.
Hi, Anne Marie.
Another hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so curious to hear you talk about this, is your social impact partners.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see that coming, but yes. Okay.
Yeah, but because, first of all, why do you partner with NGOs or organizations that you think are important to support or partner with? Let's start with why.
I think the era of, CSR and social impact or philanthropy for businesses 1.0, I think that's gone. I think all the different types of washing is kind of very obvious and does not sit well with employees or anybody else. And I think here at Spotify, if I go way back, it was always driven by a couple of passionate people that was employees that listened very closely to what Danny usually says. It's not necessarily your title, it's not necessarily what you do, but take the opportunity when you are in a company to really drive impact. And if I remember right and recall kind of correctly, it was specifically one person that kept going back to two managers, Daniel being including, say, we should have a social impact team. And if I fast forward from up to now, is this. So music, which is one of our verticals, and maybe what people usually tend to think about when they think about Spotify, still today when we also have audiobooks and podcasts, is that music and Spotify is very universal and very global. And so should our commitment be. So the bridge over to do social impact and becoming a true global citizen is not very far or long. Then I think you can do so many things and end up for good reasons in kind of the peanut butter strategy. Where you try to do a lot of things for a lot of things because there are so many good causes, like so many. But for us, it was always, I think, important that we stick to what we know. So all the partners that we have is very connected to how we, as a company, can drive leverage or impact using our platform, our content, and our people. Right?
That's how you choose them, or
that's how we choose
start
them.
A dialogue with them.
Yes, because then I think you at least as far as you can, you stay real. You also build internal proudness or pride into what you do. People can put their hand up and either commit to a day or do things, or when they design playlist or whatever it is, it's very core to what we can. So you stick to what you can, and platform is but the reach we have today. So there are times when we also write a check, but we don't want to do that in our social impact. And I think the team with the fierce leader of Lauren Wergraft and the team, and you should really invite her and she should come. She's very seldom in Sweden, but if she's here, she should join you on the rooftop, because obviously she and the team, they do amazing work and they're very knowledgeable, and I think they educate me and teach me. So I'm not the right person, but I think on the why do we do it? Global citizen. 2, it's the right thing to do. 3, stick to what you know, who you are, and what your day-to-day is. Then it's going to be authentic in so many ways, even if that is a highly debated word, right? What is authentic or not? But that works for us. And then some of the partnerships that are really cool, but also nice, and where you can drive impact is when we do that, right? So you can educate, for instance, in everything that happens in sustainability, but there's a marriage too. So the team that heads up sustainability and the team of social impact, but also the equity and diversity and inclusion team sit together very nicely and very tight. So instead of having people in each other's swim lane or forget about things, there's a really nice marriage, and there is also a lot of things that comes out from that marriage, right? Wonderful children and collabs, which makes it easy to, and sometimes confusing for me, of which of my 3 teams did this. So for instance, we just launched a lovely work that looked so nice, and it was so smart and built on everything that I said, a work that is called Sounds Right.
Yes.
Right? And where nature becomes the artist. But there is also a lot of artists that we have come to love and know that is part of that. And it's a collaboration with the Museum of United Nations, I'm supposed to say. So here, in one way, for me, it's the sustainability team, but they didn't do that much in this. It was more the social impact team, something that and I'm sure all the Spotify are very, very proud of. And it comes together so neatly.
Yes.
And another one of those collabs and partnerships that we have had for a while now, being a Swedish company, their organization is almost like our organization too, where you come in is where kind of the base is. And it's UNICEF that I talk about. So we are in one way part of the Swedish UNICEF organization, and depending on what we are doing in the world, then they guide us into kind of the American or the global UNICEF. So I speak and check in a lot with Pernilla Baralt, that is heading up UNICEF Sweden here. And it started before all the things that we have seen in Ukraine, but also now in Gaza, if I'm going to mention 2 areas. And who does not want children and young people to get the support? But back to music again and what we know, and sticking to what you know, to get these reports from the ground where Pernilla and the team from UNICEF are talking to children, and to see and hear them say things like, music is the only time I can escape from the war. Or music is the only thing that gives me some hope for the future, that it's going to be better. Or when I'm scared for my life, or I'm super hungry, or I'm sick, it's that escapism. And we all know that music enhances every moment of your life, and you don't want it to enhance war, of course, or starvation, of course, and other things that are even too hard sometimes to think about, but it helps them with that kind of spark of hope. It also puts a smile on their faces, and if we can do that, it also reminds us that we are not just an entertainment or a media or a platform with something else today. Then now with the reach of so many millions that we can educate and communicate with either music, but also knowledge on the podcast side. So two of many
that you have collaborations with.
Yes, and it's not campaigns, right? It's more programs, and it's also more collaborations or partnerships, or the way we would like or prefer to look at them too.
Yeah. Wonderful. I also know that, and we talked about this when you launched your book, Bold, that you have a collaboration partnership with, which we talked about children, so that's why I'm mentioning them, with the Swedish organization called Min Stora Dag.
Yes.
Anything that you would like to share with us? Why Min Stora Dag? What is it, and how do you collaborate with them?
Again, the book is in Swedish, so we wanted to find an NGO in Sweden, and reaching out to several of them. Min Stora Dag, first of all, they returned like in a heartbeat. It was like, hey, yes, let's do this. And for us, it was important to give all our royalties
from the book
to something that was also very close to our hearts. And we had done things with Min Stora Dag before, like the music camps and open up our studio and for the children that, it's important for all these children that are struggling with different really, really tough diseases to give them one day so they can actually be strong enough to fight another day or all the days to come. So we had already a very good sense of what great stuff Min Stora Dag needs, and obviously they need all the money they can get. So it was an obvious one. We discussed, I think, for 2 seconds in the team if we would do that. And this is also why no shame of pushing the book left and right, because the money goes to something that is very, very good.
True.
And for every book that we sell, they get our royalties. So
and Min Stora Dag, for those who don't know Swedish, it means my big day.
My big day,
yes.
For children that are struggling. And then they can wish for a day.
Yes.
And it's very, very different. It's like big things, or it's like things that is doable. But these families, one also needs to understand that many times one of the parents or both parents actually have to be on leave to be able to support.
Because these children are very ill.
Yes.
Yes.
So obviously it's hard to pay for these things. And here is where Min Stora Dag makes a whole lot of difference and paying for these wishes and in big and small, and it's just joyful to see. So if we can take a small part of that, and again, I think it's one of those examples where we don't necessarily write a check. And this is also when we are asked to do keynotes, where we sometimes say that you don't have to pay us, obviously, but if you are getting paid and people are to come and listen to us, we want you to donate to Min Stora Dag.
Beautiful. Very nice. Joyful.
Thank
you so much for sharing, Katarina.
Thank you.
Shall we close it?
Yes.
Great.
Stay safe.
Stay strong.
Stay active.
Idde medalje.
Vad berömd man är.
Nej. Sprittärnad. Gud, det där var ju jättebra. Första gången jag gjorde. Tokfräsch.
Jaha.
Ja. Jättebra armar och bickar. Och
fick man dem på köpet av färgen? Hon behöver inte gå på jobbet. Du, det här är inte en biceps, det är spraytanning.
4,
which is 8, which is double as good. Or as my mom would say, good and double good.
Double good. Kom nu tar vi en groupie selfie.
Nu gör vi en wifi som det heter.
Wifi.
Ja, let's do a wifi.
Katarina.
Har jag blivit solbränd eller är det bara röd?
Ja. Ska du göra om eller? Ja.
Det är ju den här bilden du vill ha.
Jaha, det är den. Kom Simon.
Nu kommer.
Ja, det är den. Ja, den här. Det är ju för fan det här ljuset. Ja. Nej men gud, vänta. Det här var ju mycket snyggare.
Man vill ha den bakgrunden.
Ja. Vad stod jag då?